This is the Dover Download Podcast. My name is Christopher Parker, and for the past 25 years, I've had the pleasure of working with, learning from, and talking to a variety of volunteer, staff, and community members. This podcast explores conversations, activities, and a variety of policies and programs which exist here in Dover to improve the community in one way or another. Now you know it's summer in Dover when the Cochecho Arts Festival kicks off. We're joined today by representatives of the Greater Dover Chamber of Commerce, Margaret Joyce, the director, Jed Allen, the community events coordinator, and Cliff Blake, who is a man about town. And I don't think that we really need to say anything more than that, because if you don't know Cliff, you probably don't live here and probably aren't listening to this.
Just a volunteer guy.
Yeah, that's a way to undersell that one, Cliff. So, what's going on with Cochecho Arts Festival?
Well, the big kickoff for the Friday night headliners is July 12th, and as most people know, we have 6 consecutive Friday night shows throughout the summer as part of the Cochecho Arts Festival. We also have 6 children's shows. Those are on Tuesday mornings. All of that takes place at Henry Law Park. We also round it out with what we call a creative arts showcase, and that is for artisans. It's free for people to participate. It's free for people to attend. It's like a craft show, but we call it a creative arts showcase. These are artisans. And then we'll also fill in with some movie nights that Dover Main Street is doing. And the Woodman Museum is having 2 kind of big events this summer. They have I'm going to call it a rock concert. They're calling it the Best Damn, and that's 2 M's. I'm not swearing. DAMM, Best Damn Show in town. And then they also have a movie night there as well. So a lot to offer. And then you'll see other arts happenings. I encourage people to look around. It's not just the Cochecho Arts Festival. There's so many arts offerings happening.
Well, and Cliff, I think that gets to one of the broader conversations that we've had, which is that it's not just the Friday Night Music Series, that it's arts in a general atmosphere, and that is sort of where the Arts Commission has been leading the city, and where it's good to see both the Chamber and other economic and business ventures are moving too as well.
Yeah, you're right. And luckily, I think this is the 3rd year that we've done the Creative Artist Showcase on a Saturday, which this year is August 3rd from noon to 4. And the beauty of that for artists that want to participate, and I'll ask now, if you're an artist, if you're a sculptor, if you're a jewelry maker, if you're a painter, you can have a table. We don't charge a table fee for that. And that's been growing year by year. I think the first year we had 12, the next year we had 16, and it'd be lovely to fill Upper Henry Law Park with 20 or more tables of artisans.
And the reason we are able to offer that free is because the Cochecho Arts Festival is sponsored by many community businesses and organizations. This year we're fortunate. The underwriter of the entire festival is the Orpheum Apartments and Co-work. And then the underwriter for this year's buttons, which I hope we'll talk more about, and the Friday night headliners is the Rotary Club of Dover. So we do pay the acts who come, but we keep these events free and open to the public.
So let's circle back to the buttons. But Jed, can you walk us through the lineup, what we can expect or what the listener can look forward to as the summer rolls on?
Yeah, so for the Friday night headliner series, we kick off with the Rebel Collective, an Irish band. The following week is Tower Hill. They do rock and pop covers. That's July 19th. Then July 26th, we have Toby McAllister and Sierra Sounds, a country rock band. August 2nd is Maddie and the Penders. They're doing 90s alternative rock. August 9th is Lexi James and Wildheart country band. And then we will close off the season on August 16th with Old Hat String Band, and they are a bluegrass band.
That's a really good variety. So you're really keeping a lot of opportunity for people to check out a band they're familiar with or a genre they're familiar with, but then also for free, come and check out something that they might not have normally gone to see.
The committee had a lot of discussions about whether to bring back surefire entertainers or to branch out a little more. And I know it has been years and years since we had an Irish band. And last year, because of the weather, 3 of the 6 Friday nights had to move to Dover High School's auditorium. And Lexi, doing the country stuff, she did a fabulous show. And we really felt that if anyone was deserving to return, it was her and her band, because they do such a great show. So
yeah, she was wonderful.
So that's a good side note. We hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So the expectation is Henry Law Park. come and enjoy at the bandshell and have a great time outside. But if the heavens don't cooperate, there is the opportunity to move to Dover High. And Margaret, how does that word get out? What's the best way for people to follow along? And
Well, you could certainly call the chamber, but we will be posting it.
what's calling? Is that a
It's an old-fashioned concept that people my age and up might be familiar with on the rotary, dial up there.
rotary?
So certainly call the chamber, 603-742-2218, but you can also see it on our social media pages and the Dover Chamber website, which is dovernh.org/CAF. The city also does a really good job of pushing it out through their channels as well on the city websites.
Good.
So we'll do our best to get the word out as early as we can, but we don't usually call it till about noon. As you said, you hope for the best. And the same with the kids' shows. Those move indoors to the library, the Dover Public Library. Both venues have plenty of parking, and the nice thing on the Friday night shows, that high school is air conditioned, so it kind of feels good, but hope for the best.
So speaking of the kids shows, who are we looking forward to on the kids shows?
So we will kick off with Rockin' Ron, the Friendly Pirate. That's on July 9th. July 16th, we have Wildlife Encounters. July 23rd is magician B.J. Hickman. July 30th is the UNH Theater. August 6th is Steve Blunt's Children's Music and More. And then August 13th is Bryson Lang Comedy and Juggling.
And I think B.J. Hickman, who is also a member of the Cochecho Arts Festival Committee, Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong, he's done this will be his 38th.
I was just going to say, he
Yeah.
must be the most reoccurring act.
He's done every single one.
And Don Bryan, too, Mr.
Yeah.
Dover.
Yeah,
so
he'll MC one of the shows for us. And then the other, Rock and Ron, I think, has done a lot as well.
Yeah, he's been
around.
real stalwart participant in the events.
Yeah, great show.
The other thing that is kind of that happens at the same time as the kids shows is Art Rocks. And there are opportunities for artisans to come in for the hour during those shows from 10:30 to 11:30 on those Tuesday mornings and do some creative art with kids there as well. And there's a stipend attached to that. And we have 5 of those dates that are open right now. So you can call the chamber for information if you're
if you'd
an
like
artist
to
and
participate. And it's a way for the kids to participate hands-on in art. Some of them are very young. They can't sit there through an hour-long show, and they get a little itchy. So we have a little art projects on the side for them to work on.
Some of us soon-to-be 50-year-olds can't sit there for an hour.
I wasn't going to say, Chris.
Just in case someone missed it, where do the kids shows take place, Jed?
At the Rotary Arts Pavilion at Upper Henry Law Park.
Great. So it's a one venue fits all.
Yes. And they're a little bit earlier in the day. Feedback from previous attendees told us it's a nice time because it's just before lunch, just before nap time, and before the heat of the day. So
and the beauty is if you're coming to spend the day with your kids, you can go to the event, grab some lunch, go to the Children's Museum, do a couple things, and really attack the better part of a day.
Yep.
Plus get a nap in there for some of us.
for some of us, yeah.
One of the things that I think is a hallmark of any chamber event is how you have so much support, not just from the business community and your member community, but also from the citizen community in the sense of not just turnout, but also volunteers. Can you speak a little to if someone wants to get involved and spend some time helping to support the Arts Festival, how they might do that?
We do need volunteers at the Friday night shows mainly. Cliff serves as our MC some of the nights, and when he's not doing that role, he helps sell the raffle tickets. But that is where we need help, is selling the buttons and selling raffle tickets. We get prizes donated by local businesses, and we give those out at night. They're $1 each. It's not a heavy lift for people to buy a raffle ticket if they want. But we do need people down there helping to sell the raffle tickets. And it's not onerous. It's actually fun because you get to go around and talk to the people. A lot of our people are regulars. They're returning people, and it's a fun gig. And then stay and enjoy the show.
When you mentioned earlier, Margaret, the buttons. Jed, can you talk about what the button benefits are and how someone might go about purchasing that?
Yeah, so you can purchase them in person at the shows, or you can come into the chamber to buy one. They're $10 each, and with a button, you can get water at any of the concerts. You also get entered into a raffle to win a very nice grill. You're also entered into a raffle to get a piece of artwork from Susan Hanna.
Nice.
And if you haven't seen her work, it's phenomenal. It's a seascape painting that we'll be raffling off.
It's another value add for the button benefits. So what she's offering is if you come into her gallery any time between now and the last show and show your button, you'll get entered into a raffle for a piece of her original art. And I'm a huge fan. Her art is amazing. And this particular one is an ocean scene. It's beautiful.
And again, I like how it reinforces the arts as a collective here with the Cochecho Arts Festival, because Susan and many of the artisans that are located downtown really are coming together to support these activities. And her providing this as a donation for the raffle is another great way to see that synergy that we're seeing, Cliff.
Yeah, and you also, Chris, mentioned the volunteer aspect that Margaret touched on. And on each of the Friday nights, we invite a different nonprofit to set up a table there as well. I don't think I have the complete list, but I know the Friends of the Library are there for the July 12th evening. And it's an opportunity, again, while you have a gathering of people there, it's not just the chamber hogging all this benefit. It's every night, every Friday night will be a different nonprofit opportunity to get the word out on their activities.
Yeah, they'll have an opportunity to speak at the outset of the show, just very briefly, and then they'll have a table there. And again, we'll highlight it in the brochure so they'll get the publicity, and it's a different one for each of the 6 shows. But they're all local nonprofits that will resonate with people.
I think it's important to circle back to 2 things. One is it's a free-for-all, meaning there's no charge. You show up at the park and enjoy the music, but that doesn't mean that it is a cost-free event. You do have to fundraise and get sponsorship for the event. Are there any sponsors that you want to highlight, or any folks that you want to? I know you mentioned Orpheum and you mentioned the button sponsor.
Yes, the Rotary. And then we have individual sponsors for each of the shows. So for the 6 Friday night shows, we have sponsors. We do have a couple of sponsors left to fill, but we've got Leone McDonald Roberts, a local accounting firm, lined up. We have DF Richard Energy sponsoring. We have Breeze Line sponsoring one of the shows. Then for the kids shows, we've got a few of those left to sponsor, but Martel Plumbing and Heating is sponsoring one of the shows. And then a new one to us this year, Quality Electric, is sponsoring a show as well. So it's a way for local businesses to support the arts, support the community, give back, and get some publicity for themselves.
That's great. And I would say to a business listening who thinks they might have missed their opportunity, there's always 2025.
Yes, but we do have opportunities for this year, but we also have Apple Harvest Day coming up. So if you didn't get in on the action for Cochecho Arts Festival, this year is our 40th, hard to believe, 40th annual Apple Harvest Day, and that is a large event with even more costs associated than the Cochecho Arts Festival. So if you are listening and you're a business and you would like to help out with Apple Harvest Day, we'd love to have you.
That's one of those events that I think people don't realize how much in advance the chamber, not that Cochecho Arts comes together in a week and a half, but these events take time. They take volunteers, as Cliff was alluding to. They take sponsorship, but they also take thought and planning. And I'm sure that Apple Harvest Day 40 will be great, and we'll look forward to that. But the Cochecho Arts Festival, that really, like I said at the onset, I think that defines summer here in Dover, just as Apple Harvest Day sort of starts the fall season. What in your time, I'm not going to ask Jed since Jed's time here is week and a half, but Cliff or Margaret, are there things about Cochecho Arts that you've seen over the years that you've seen an evolution on or seen growth in that you want to point out, in case people haven't been for a while, that maybe something they can look to expect?
I think from my perspective, you mentioned it's nice to see the looks on people's faces while they're there enjoying it. And for some people who can't afford a night out, it's wonderful to be able to provide for some people of age a free event for them to go to in town. And I think that's been the best thing. And they're very, very appreciative. And beyond that, I guess there's a hand-holding among all the organizations. And I've just seen that continue to grow under Margaret's leadership and the committee. We've really tried to get as many different organizations involved in it as possible. It's a chamber-sponsored event, but it's really a community
event. Yeah. And it's interesting. You hit the nail, as always, Cliff, right on the head. But before Jed and I came here, we were having quite an active conversation in the office about the fact that these are free events. We are bringing a night out, or in the case of the kid shows, a day out, to an audience that might not otherwise have access to the arts. Whether it's a transportation issue, a cost issue, but people stroll on down to Henry Law Park or however they get there. There is no fee. It's optional to buy a button. You don't have to buy a raffle ticket. It is truly a free event. If people want to go out afterwards and support a local restaurant or bring a pizza or a sandwich or something down with them, we encourage that, but it truly is a free event. And Jed and I were just having a lengthy conversation about that before we came. The other thing that these events allow us to do is involve people like Cliff. You can serve on committees with the Chamber, and the community events are a good example of that. And Cliff has been on this committee for a number of years, and if people don't know, he's had an extensive, lengthy career. Not too lengthy. I don't mean to make you sound old over there, Cliff, but in radio and the entertainment industry. And I'm thrilled.
Radio? Is that like pre-podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. PP.
The good old days. Yeah, when they used to spin the records and all that good stuff. And then Jed has been a wonderful addition to the Chamber staff because he is a musician himself. And other people on the committees have backgrounds in that as well. But it's going to be terrific to have Jed's knowledge of and experience in the local music scene.
I grew up here in Dover, and I've lived several other places since then, but now I'm back. And so growing up here, there is a sense that like those summer concerts did kind of define summer. You could, I grew up close enough to downtown that I could hear the music from my house and I'd ride my bike down. But now kind of being an adult, being on the other side of it, and having lived in several other places, not every community has something like this.
Right.
So it's fun now that I'm part of, bringing this to the community. That's really exciting for me.
I want to wrap up, but my parting thought, as it were, would be that I think it's important to recognize that Cochecho Arts is an opportunity for the community at large. It's not one demographic or another. It's a great opportunity for a mixture of demographics, and you see that. You see multi-generations. You see people that are from all over the community gather, enjoy. I do exactly what you said. I get some takeout, et cetera, and we camp out and enjoy the night and realize how great it is to be in a community that is vibrant and active and engaged. So thanks to the Chamber for putting this on, and thanks to Cliff and you and the others on the committee that put in the time and effort to come up with the bands, work through the logistics, and make it happen. And Jed, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Any last words?
July 12th. We'll see you there. The brochures will be available soon. They're at the designer now, but you can pop by the Chamber to pick up the brochures. I'll also have them around town. They'll be available at the Chamber table at the shows as well if people want to get the brochures. But the schedule is online, dovernh.org/CAF.
Bring all your Irish friends, Irish band, Irish music, first time in at least 10 years.
Cliff
this
and I
is a
are very
big Irish
excited.
heritage community, so it'll be fun. But
We're very excited about that.
Well, thanks for coming by, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Here we are, the midway to the year, which means that another month has passed and another group of activities have been taken on and tackled by our boards, commissions, and committees and the volunteers that make them up. Brian and Erin from Planning and from Media Services are here to walk us through the exciting things we might have missed. Brian, what do you got for us today?
The City Council, they only met for one regular meeting this month, but they did start the month off with a workshop on energy. And this workshop included an update on the Dover Community Power and a couple proposals recommended by the Dover Energy Commission. One is an energy savings performance contracting, which I believe, Chris, we've done before in the past.
We have. We've done two of these in the past. They're a great way for the community to make some infrastructure improvements and spread out the costs so that they equal the savings that we'll receive through the more efficient upgrades that we make in our equipment.
And the other proposal they're looking at is potentially a solar array at the city's wastewater treatment plant.
It is definitely one of the more intense users of energy. It and the arena are probably the two most on the municipal side. And again, this is an area we've looked at before, and the Energy Commission has really rolled up its sleeves and worked with Dr. Kaspari to see what options are out there. And it's great to see the council promote that review and investigation. And I think hopefully either late this summer, early in the fall, we'll see some progress made on both of those projects.
Right, yeah, because since it's a workshop, no action was taken. But the council gave consensus to move forward, bring some proposals for them to consider in the future.
Right. So Bill Baber, who's the chair of the Energy Commission, has said that that's going to be a top priority for the commission over the summer to flush these out and come back with real proposals now that they've got that consensus.
Their only regular meeting of the month was on June 12th. Wasn't a lot of heavy lifting that month. They renamed a Class 6 portion of Lock Street to Tranquility Way, part of a development of that site near Pine Hill Cemetery. Also approved sewer repairs, purchasing pumps for the River Street pump station, authorized purchases of heavy-duty trucks, awarded a contract for water monitoring for the Pudding Hill Aquifer, which is expected to be repaid by the settlement agreement, which is also funding a large portion of the new water treatment plant. And that's about all, I think.
Yeah,
for
so a lot of
council.
end-of-the-year housekeeping type projects. The space geek in me is wondering if the owner of Tranquility Way is a fan of moon landings, or they're just like peace and calmness in the world. Erin, how about the planning board? Did they meet this month?
Planning board met twice in June.
Ooh, overachievers.
For the rest of the summer, they'll only meet once in July, once in August. But this past month, they approved an extension request for a previously approved 27-lot subdivision proposal on Tolan Road. They improved a couple environmental CUPs. One of the CUPs we talked about in the past was for Unitil that had previously been endorsed by the Conservation Commission. That's for a project they're proposing to replace a section of gas pipe that will create some wetland impacts in the area. And the board also approved a site plan, 2 CUPs, and a lot line adjustment as part of a proposal to construct a townhouse condo complex. This will be taking place on Fisher Street, and it abuts the community trail in that area. And the board also approved a site plan amendment. And this was an exciting update for the Macintosh project at 23 Cataract. This includes some minor changes to the project, some architectural design elements, but importantly, it increases the number of attainable units from 52 to 78 units. And these units will actually be rent restricted to 60% of the area median family income level. And this is actually below the HUD market rate value. And there was a TDR application that had been considered by both the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission. This was for 210 Tolan Road, and the application proposed included 53 total units at this site. This application has been withdrawn from the applicant.
Yeah, I know that was there was some stressors out there, both for the abutters and the boards and commissions looking at how much is too much of an ask. And I think it's a good sign that the applicant and the planning staff were able to talk through the pros and cons, and the applicant was able to come to the realization that maybe they need a little bit more insight on what's an appropriate use on that lot.
And speaking of housing, the Community Housing Needs Committee also met in June. They're hearing an update on the SRPC regulatory audit on housing. They're actually receiving a draft report on that audit. So we're expecting to have the finished product potentially in July, possibly August. So we'll be excited to present that to get public feedback. A couple other meetings that happened in June. The Community Trail Advisory Committee met and are talking more about the Phase 4 expansion plans for the trail. There will actually be a presentation and public hearing coming up in July or August on the draft engineering report. So once we get a final date on that, we'll be able to share it.
Great. Anything else either of you think the listener should know?
I know the Joint Building Committee for the Athletic Improvements, they met 4 times. They had a contract, I think, with Ty and Bond. They also had a community listening session. There's public comment at every meeting as well, but they are aggressively meeting.
They're definitely moving forward full steam ahead on trying to come to a consensus on what the best course of action is. Erin, did the zoning board meet this month?
They did meet in June. The zoning board approved a variance for one project and an equitable waiver for another. They had one item that was tabled, so we'll be talking more about that in July.
I know that they only had 3 members of the zoning board attend, and so the listener is aware. If there's less than 5, the applicant has the opportunity to not be heard and not be penalized for not being heard because they have to get 3 votes yes to get an approval. And so a lot of times an applicant will want to hold off for their best chance forward. So we'll be hearing more about that other project in the future, I suppose.
That's it. And I should say it was actually continued, so it will be heard at their July meeting.
Great. Well, I think this is the end of the road for us on this half of the year. So thank you both for coming in. And Erin, I want to say congratulations. I know you recently graduated from Leadership Seacoast. A great accomplishment. As someone who's an alumnus, I appreciate that the city staff continues to take advantage of that program. And I wish you both the best of the day and enjoy your summer. We'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Dover Download this week. If you like what you heard, subscribe through your favorite podcast aggregator. And if you have something you want to hear a topic on, let us know. Finally, this is just one of the many ways we share information about the city of Dover. You can subscribe to the Dover Downloads email newsletter every week or other newsletters that we have by going to the City of Dover homepage, www.dover.nh.gov. Have a great week.